Dr. Frene Ginwala, the Speaker of South Africa's first democratically elected parliament in 1994, has passed away. She was 90 years old. President Cyril Ramaphosa made the announcement of her passing a short while ago. According to the President, Ginwala passed away at her home on Thursday night. She had suffered a stroke 2 weeks ago. Ginwala was born on 25 April 1932 and served the anti-apartheid struggle, as well as the country's constitutional democracy in various roles, including as a lawyer, an academic, political leader and journalist. Our reporters Govan, Whittles and Athi Mtongana are following the story from outside Ginwala's home in Johannesburg and Parliament, respectively. Very good afternoon to you both. Athi, just to kick off with you, you're outside of Parliament. What sort of reaction have you been getting this afternoon?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Hugo. I am going to be joined by the spokesperson of Parliament, Moloto Mothapo. And previously, of course, you would have heard with my conversation earlier on with Dudu, I had reflected on the statement that Parliament has released with the presiding officers, of course, sending their messages of condolences to the family of Dr. Frene Ginwala. I'm joined then by Moloto. I'm going to go into conversation with you. You were just showing me a picture that has been put up here in Parliament of the founding Speaker of the National Assembly. What can you tell us about her? We know you have reflected on her life in the statement that has been released by Parliament.
No, indeed, I think today is a sad day for South Africa. It's a sad day for the National Parliament that Dr. Frene Ginwala, we can say she founded it as the first National Assembly Speaker of the Democratic Parliament. But we are talking about a giant of our struggle for liberation in this country, who is among the rocks that are powerful women who were behind the push for the liberation and for the democracy of South Africa, who did not only play a powerful role both locally and also abroad as an exile to liberate the people of South Africa, to conceptualize the new democratic constitution, but somebody who came in and became and made history by leading or being a co-leader of one of the most important arms of the state in our constitution. Somebody who came and was faced with a mammoth task of transforming this institution from a terrain of the few, of the minority, that excluded the great majority of South Africans who are black and Africans, to come and transform it into a very inclusive institution that the people can claim as their own. Very small but critical things that happened that really reflected the people of South Africa in this institution, which include making sure that there is involvement of the people of South Africa in the processes that Parliament is involved in, the lawmaking processes, the oversight over the executive, the involvement in the critical decisions that are happening in the country, such as electing the president. She is the one who led that team of presiding officers and as well as members of Parliament in ensuring that this institution is transformed from the rules of the apartheid era into the rules that reflect the constitutional democracy of our country. So the work that she has done is really yet to be recognized fully, is yet really to be the story is yet to be told in great detail.
All right. Moloto, I'd love to continue this conversation. I do believe that Newzroom Afrika will be in conversation with the current Speaker of the National Assembly, Moloto, thank you so much for your time. And so we'll leave it there for now, Hugo. Back to you in studio.
Athi, thank you very much. You are right. We will speak to the Speaker of the House a little bit later on the show. But Govan, Whittles, you are outside the residence of Dr. Ginwala, where I assume many friends are coming to pay their last respects.
At this point, Hugo, it's quiet outside her home. One of her closest friends, someone she had spent a lot of time with, not only in exile, but also in that first democratic parliament, Dr. Essa Pahad, having visited the family a short while ago, still inside. And they're just coming to grips with what has happened and also planning the next few days forward as people continue to pay tribute to Dr. Ginwala. We know that she's someone whose legacy spans a great number of decades and, of course, is someone who's contributed immensely to not only the establishment of South Africa's democratic order, but also to the success of the ANC's liberation war in Southern Africa, someone who's got really a lot of respect among the former heads of state and current heads of state of SADC nations and other East African nations. We spoke to Lawson Naidoo, who's the spokesperson for the family, also someone who worked with Dr. Ginwala in Parliament as well as in exile. Dr. Ginwala having secured her doctorate in philosophy from Oxford University and having, in many respects, led the ANC's efforts in exile, particularly in London. And Lawson Naidoo just detailing what the plan would be going forward for the family and what South Africans could expect for the next few days. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Well, you know, Frene was a very, very private person. Her personal life was always kept well shielded, and she wanted a very private funeral, which the family will be arranging. We are, of course, in discussions with the presidency regarding an official memorial service that will be held in due course, once we've worked out the logistics of that. But I think the nation does today mourn a great leader, a great woman leader who set the bar and broke many glass ceilings that other women were able to follow in her footsteps.
Govan, Whittles, appreciate your time.